So, and again, everything I say here is only my opinion, so don't hold it against me, okay? So, what do you say we look at a little bit of the big book here? This was, we're actually up to chapter 6 in the big book. If you happen to have one, you can follow along. This is called Into Action. So we already talked about how it works, and my gosh, let's see. Let's go back here. Let's go back. There we go. It takes me a while to get back on this. So we talked about. Oh yeah, we started from the beginning. The doctor's opinion. Bill's story. We kind of we touched on that. We didn't go into too much detail. I could go back over that, but that's just the story of Bill Wilson and his alcoholic tendencies and what his outcome was. We did There Is a Solution, more about alcoholism. We did We Agnostics, how it works. Talked about that last time, and now we're into action. Into action. So after you get all the good stuff, how it works and all that, what am I supposed to do with it? I know how it works. Now what am I supposed to do? And that's where we are. So let's get back to page 84 of the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous. 84, where are you? Here we go. All right, into action. All right, having made our personal inventory, and inventory comes up on step 4, the 12 steps, incidentally. What shall we do about it? Yeah, what do we do now? Well, we've been trying to get a new attitude, a new relationship with our Creator, and to discover the obstacles in our path. We have admitted certain defects. Yeah, lots of defects. We have ascertained in a rough way what the trouble is. We put our finger on the weak items in our personal inventory. And now these are about to be cast out. This requires action on our part, which, when completed, will mean that we have admitted to God, to ourselves, and to another human being the exact nature of our defects. And that's interesting how they phrase that. Defects. In the 12 steps, it's wrongs. They use the word wrongs. I guess they go together pretty much the same, defects and wrongs. This brings us to the 5th step in the program of recovery mentioned in the preceding chapter. This is perhaps difficult, especially discussing our defects with another person. That's why if you are going to go through the 12 steps with somebody, it should be somebody that you trust, of the same sex, preferably a sponsor. It doesn't have to be. It could be a pastor. Could be a group leader. But certainly someone that you trust, that's for sure. We think we've done well enough in admitting these things to ourselves, and there is doubt about that. In actual practice, we usually find a solitary self-appraisal insufficient. Oh, sure, if I was to appraise myself, I'd say, I am perfect. I'm pretty close to it. Wrong. About as far as you can get from perfect. Many of us thought it necessary to go much further. We will be more reconciled to discussing ourselves with another person when we see good reasons why we should do so. The best reason first: if we skip this vital step, we may not overcome our addiction. Now, keeping in mind this is based on being written back in 1935. It was strictly for people who had an alcohol problem, drinking. Of course, over the years, It now covers anyone that has an addiction. That's used widely for people that are hard drug users. They all use the big book. If they don't have access to NA, they all attend. I say all. A lot of them attend AA meetings as well, even though their problem wasn't drinking or isn't drinking, but using and abusing. So I do a little self editing when I'm reading. And if there's any hardcore AA people out there, please don't take offense. Um, but my self editing is definitely geared toward the addiction. So, the best reason first, if we skip this vital step, we may not overcome our addiction, whether that's drugs, alcohol. Alcohol is a drug, or any other addiction you might have. Time after time, newcomers have tried to keep to themselves certain facts about their lives. Trying to avoid this humbling experience, they've turned to easier methods. Almost invariably, they got drunk or they used drugs. They fell off the wagon. They had a relapse. Having persevered, with the rest of the program, they wondered why they fell. And we think the reason is that they never completed their house cleaning. They took inventory all right, but hung on to some of the worst items in stock. They only thought they had lost their egoism and fear. They only thought they had humbled themselves, but they had not learned enough of humility, fearlessness, and honesty in the sense that we find it necessary until they told someone else their life story. Confession. Good for the soul. That's what they say, right? So you have to clean house. You have to get out the garbage. And the best way to do that is to tell somebody else. You can do it through a sponsor or a pastor or someone you trust, or you can go to therapy. There's nothing wrong with that. And now you can get therapy on your phone. Take advantage of it if you can. And if you have insurance through work, or a partner or spouse or whatever, make sure you take advantage of that. Absolutely take advantage of it, especially if you have having a problem with drink or drugs. More than most people, the alcoholic/addict leads a double life. Yeah, he's very much the actor. To the outer world, he presents his stage character. This is the one that he likes his fellows to see. He wants to enjoy a certain reputation, but knows in his heart that he doesn't deserve it. The inconsistency is made worse by the things that he does on his sprees, binges, whatever you want to call it. Coming to his senses, he's revolted at certain episodes he vaguely remembers, and these memories are a nightmare. He trembles to think that someone might have seen him. As fast as he can, he pushes these memories far inside himself. He hopes that they'll never see the light of day. He's under constant fear and tension, and that makes for more using and abusing. And they use the pronoun he. Obviously, he is just a general term for he, she, or whatever you choose to call yourself. If you got a problem, an addiction, don't matter what you call yourself. You're an addict, alcohol or not. Psychologists are inclined to agree with us. We've spent thousands of dollars for examinations. We know but few instances where we've given these doctors a fair break. We've seldom told them the whole truth, nor have we followed their advice. Unwilling to be honest with these sympathetic men or women, we were honest with no one else. Small wonder many in the medical profession have a low opinion of addicts and their chance for recovery. Now, again, this was back in the day. Things have changed as far as attitudes go. Thankfully. Thank God for that. We must be entirely honest with somebody if we expect to live long or happily in this world. Rightly and naturally, we think well before we choose the person or persons with whom to take this intimate and confidential step. Those of us belonging to a religious denomination which requires confession must, and of course, we will want to go to the properly appointed authority whose duty it is to receive it, usually a priest. Though we have no religious connection, we may still do well to talk with someone ordained by an established religion, a pastor. We often find such a person quick to see and understand our problem. Of course, we sometimes encounter people who do not understand addicts, whether it's alcohol or drugs. Some people just don't understand. If we cannot or would rather not do this, we search our acquaintance for a close mouthed, understanding friend. That's one way to put it, a close mouthed, understanding friend. In other words, a good friend that'll keep their mouth shut and keep a secret. If you got a friend like that, hang on to them. They're rare. Usually those a lot of friends just can't, they have to blurt it out to somebody. Guess what I heard? Oh man, yeah. If we cannot or rather not do this, we search for an acquaintance with a closed-mouthed, understanding friend. Perhaps our doctor or psychologist will be the person. Maybe one of our own family, but we cannot disclose anything to our wives or parents which will hurt them and make them unhappy. So, yeah, trying to stay away from family members if you're going to have some confession as far as your addiction goes, whether it's alcohol or anything else. Try to go to get some outside help, objective, someone that can be objective. It may be one of our own family, but we cannot disclose anything. We have no right to save our own skin at another person's expense. True. Such parts of our story we tell to someone who will understand, yet be unaffected. The rule is we must be hard on ourselves, but always considerate of others. That's such a nice way to put it. Hard on ourselves, but always considerate of others. And that's what it takes. You got to be tough on yourself. Look, if you're going to get, away from your addiction, whatever your flavor happens to be, flavor of the week, you got to be honest with yourself. Yeah. Hard on yourself. In other words, being honest with yourself and considerate of others. Notwithstanding the great necessity for discussing ourselves with someone, it may be one is so situated that there is no suitable person available. If that's so, this step may be postponed only, however, if we hold ourselves in complete readiness to go through with it at the first opportunity. Yeah, that's fine. There's absolutely no one, you have no access to anybody that you trust, no access to a pastor, a church, a group, a leader, a sponsor in from AA or NA or Celebrate Recovery. If you don't have a sponsor, go get one. There's a lot of people out there that have history in addiction that are recovered now, that would be more than happy to help you, more than willing to help. So just go get a sponsor. Go get one. Okay. Oh, I'll be right back. Be right back. Oh, I'm talking to myself. Great. All right. Sorry about that. Little break there. Had to take a quickie. Um, so we're talking about into action with or from the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous, and this is my channel and the way I do it myself. And again, it's just me, my opinion. The way I do it is this is geared to anybody that has an addiction, not just alcohol, hard drugs, food, whatever. If you follow the program, follow the steps, um, get into a group meeting on a regular basis. And there's plenty of, if you check with a local AA group, a lot of them offer dual addiction programs or, for food, porn, sex. I mean, a lot of them offer all kinds of recovery programs. If if that's something that you feel that you need, if you stepped over the line or you're just sick and tired of being sick and tired, then contact them. Get in touch. Get in touch. So, where did I leave off here? Oh, okay. So when we decide who's to hear our story, we're going to tell our life story to somebody, and we're going to clean house. And when you finally decide who's to hear your story, we waste no time. We've got written inventory, and we're prepared for a long talk. We explain to our partner, which would be a sponsor or, again, a pastor or somebody, a leader of a group, someone you trust. When we decide who's to hear our story, we waste no time. We have a written inventory. We're prepared for a long talk. We explain to our partner what we are about to do and why we have to do it. And they should realize that we're engaged upon a life and death errand. It is life and death. Come on. Come on. Most people approached in this way will be glad to help. That's right. They'll be honored by our confidence and our trust in them. Absolutely. You can do it. We pocket our pride. We go into it, illuminating every twist of character, every dark cranny of the past. And once we've taken this step, withholding nothing, we're delighted. That's confession again. Get it off your shoulders. Get it out of there. Doesn't belong in there. Put it out to the side of the road. Get rid of the trash. We can look at the world. We can look the world in the eye, and we can be alone at perfect peace and ease. Our fears fall from us, and we begin to feel the nearness of our Creator. Oh, yes. And we may have had certain spiritual beliefs, but now we begin to have a spiritual experience. The feeling that the drink or drug problem or food or whatever your addiction is, the addiction problem has disappeared, and that feeling will often come strongly. And we feel we're on the broad highway, walking hand in hand with the spirit of the universe. Returning home, we find a place where we can be quiet, carefully reviewing what we've done. We thank God from the bottom of our heart that we know Him better. Taking this book, which is the big book, taking the book down from our shelf, we turn to the page which contains the 12 steps, which we went over recently, carefully reading the first 5 proposals as we ask if we have omitted anything. For we are building an arch through which we shall walk, be free man, free woman, at last. Is our work solid so far? Are the stones properly in place? Have we skimped on the cement put into the foundation? Have we tried to make mortar without sand? Well, if we can answer to our satisfaction, we then look at step 6. So there was step 4 and step 5 right there. Step 6, we have emphasized willingness as being indispensable. Are we now ready to let God remove from us all the things which we have admitted are objectionable? I think so. Can he now take them all, every one? Yeah, please. Please, God, take every one of them. Should we still cling to something that we will not let go? We ask God to help us be willing. So a lot can be accomplished in getting sober, getting into recovery, if you're willing. Magic word, willing, willing. Are you willing to listen? Are you willing to change? Now, some people find that very difficult. You want to save yourself a lot of pain and the people around you a lot of pain, then just be willing. Take the step. When ready, we say something like this: My Creator, or you can say God, which is perfectly fine. I am now willing that you should have all of me, good and bad. I pray that you will now remove from me every single defect of character which stands in the way of my usefulness to you and my fellows. Grant me strength as I go out from here to do your bidding. Amen. We have then completed step 7. Now we need more action, without which we find that faith without works is dead. Faith without works is dead. Let's look at steps 8 and 9. We have a list of all persons we've harmed and to whom we're willing to make amends. Yeah. We made it when we took inventory. We subjected ourselves to a drastic self-appraisal. And now we go out to our fellows and repair the damage done in the past. We attempt to sweep away the debris which has accumulated out of our effort to live on self-will and run the show ourselves. We haven't the will to do this. We ask until it comes. Ask who? Ask God, or your higher power, or whomever you decide to make your higher power. Creator of the universe. Doesn't matter as long as you've got a higher power that's bigger than you. Okay? For me, it's God. So, remember, it was agreed at the beginning we would go to any lengths for victory over our addiction. Whatever it is, alcohol, drugs, food, doesn't matter. There's a list this long. It doesn't matter. But we said that we'd go to any lengths. And probably there's still some misgivings as we look over the list of business acquaintances and friends that we've hurt. We may feel a little bit odd, reluctant about going to some of them on a spiritual basis. So let us be reassured. To some people, we need not and probably should not emphasize the spiritual feature on our first approach. We might prejudice them. At the moment, we're trying to put our lives in order, but this is not an end in itself. Our real purpose is to fit ourselves to be of maximum service to God and the people around us. It's seldom wise to approach an individual who still hurts from our injustice to them, him or her, and announce that we've gone religious. That usually isn't going to work. In the prize ring, this would be called leading with the chin. Really? Just waiting. Leading with the chin. Why lay ourselves open to being branded fanatics or religious bores? We may kill a future opportunity to carry a beneficial message, but our the person, man or woman, is sure to be impressed with a sincere desire to set right the wrong that you committed. They're going to be more interested in a demonstration of goodwill than in our talk of spiritual discoveries. Yeah, that's true. Yep. Stole from the boss? Yeah, he's more interested probably, in a demonstration of goodwill rather than just talking about how great you feel in the spirit. He probably wants his money back, which is fine. You do that. Absolutely. We don't use this as an excuse for shying away from the subject of God. Congratulations, Mike, by the way. Congratulations. 14 years. That's great. Let's see, I got lost here. Let's see where I was. Yeah, right. They want to see what you can do. What are your actions? Actions speak louder than words, right? So you want to set things right, actions speak louder than words do. 99.9% of the time. Okay, we don't use this as an excuse for shying away from the subject of God. When it will serve any good purpose, we're willing to renounce our convictions with tact and common sense. The question of how to approach them, the person that we hated, will arise. It might be that they've done us more harm than we've done them, and though we may have acquired a better attitude toward them, we're still not too happy about admitting our faults. Nevertheless, with a person we dislike, if we grit our teeth, then we can do it. It's harder to go to an enemy than to a friend, but we find it much more beneficial to us. We go to them in a helpful and forgiving spirit, confessing our former ill feeling and expressing our regret. Yeah, it's so easy to turn things around. It really is. Hey, man, I'm really sorry that we had a falling out, It was my fault, and I just ask for your forgiveness, and it works. And it works on both sides. It works for you, and it works for them. Under no condition do we criticize such a person or argue. We simply tell them that we never get over our addiction until we've done our utmost to straighten out the past. We're there to sweep off our side of the street, realizing that nothing worthwhile can be accomplished until we do so. Never trying to tell them what they should do. Their faults are not discussed. We stick to our own. If our manner's calm, frank, and open, we will be gratified with the result. Yeah, absolutely. In 9 out of 10 cases, the unexpected happens. Sometimes the person we're calling upon admits their own fault. The feuding melts away in an hour or less. Rarely do we fail to make satisfactory progress. Our former enemies sometimes praise what we're doing and wish us well. Occasionally, they'll offer assistance. And it should not matter, however, if someone does throw us out of their office. We tried. We've made our demonstration. We've done our part, and it's water over the dam. Water over the damn dam. That's right. Repeat, repeat. Doesn't matter if they throw you out of the office. That doesn't happen very often. Most addicts, alcoholic or drugs, and some others, most addicts owe money. We don't dodge our creditors. Oh, it was easy back in the day, though, wasn't it? Yeah, it sure was. We tell them what we're trying to do. We make no bones about our using and abusing, and they usually know it anyway, whether we think so or not. And we're not afraid of disclosing our addiction on the theory that it may cause financial harm. Approached in this way, the most ruthless creditor will sometimes surprise us, arranging the best deal that we can let these people know that we're sorry. Our drinking, our drugging has made us slow to pay. We must lose our fear of creditors no matter how far we have to go, for we're liable to fall back into that addiction, relapse, if we're afraid to face them, those credit card bills, whatever bills happen to be. Yeah, we're afraid to face them. It's easy to relapse. That escape from your responsibilities. Guilty. Done it. Perhaps we've committed a criminal offense which might land us in jail, if known to the authorities. Maybe we may be short in our accounts and unable to make good. We've already admitted this in confidence to another person, but we're sure we would go to jail or lose our job if it were known. Maybe it's only a petty offense. Most of us have done that sort of thing. Maybe we're divorced and have remarried but haven't kept up the alimony or the child support. She's indignant about it and has a warrant out. That's a common form of trouble. Although these reparations take innumerable forms, there are some general principles which we find guiding, reminding ourselves that we've decided to go to any lengths to find a spiritual experience. We ask that we be given the strength and direction to do the right thing, no matter what the personal consequences may be. We may lose our position or reputation or face jail, but we're willing. We have to be. We must not shrink at anything. Usually, however, other people are involved. Therefore, we're not to be the hasty and foolish type who needlessly sacrifice others to save himself or herself. A man that was known had remarried because of resentment and using and abusing. He didn't pay the alimony to his first wife, and she was furious. She went to court, got an order for his arrest. He had commenced to get sober, had secured a position, and was getting his head above water. It would have been impressive heroics if he'd walked up to the judge and said, "Here I am." He should have been willing to do that if necessary, but if he were in jail, he could provide nothing for either family. So it was suggested that he write his first wife admitting his faults and asking forgiveness. He did that and sent a small amount of money, told her what he'd try to do in the future, and he said that he was perfectly willing to go to jail if she insisted. She didn't, and the whole situation has long since been repaired. Before taking drastic action which might implicate other people, we secure their consent. If we've obtained permission, have consulted with others, asked God to help, and the drastic step is indicated, we must not shrink from it. So if you have to do some jail time, so be it. I mean, especially if they have a warrant out, they're going to catch up with you sooner or later when you least expect it. This brings to mind a story about one of the friends of the group here that put together the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous. One of their friends, while he was out drinking and drugging, he accepted a sum of money from a hated business rival. Accepted the money and didn't give him a receipt. He subsequently denied having received the money and used the incident as a basis for discrediting him. He used his own wrongdoing as a means of destroying the reputation of another. He felt he'd done a wrong he could not possibly make right. If he opened that old affair, he was afraid it would destroy the reputation of his partner, disgrace his family, and take away his means of livelihood. What right had he to involve those dependent upon him? How could he possibly make a public statement exonerating his rival? After consulting with his wife and partner, he came to the conclusion that it was better to take those risks than to stand before his creator guilty of such slander. He saw that he had to place the outcome in God's hands, or he'd soon start his using and abusing again, and everything would be lost anyhow. So he attended church for the first time in many years. After the sermon, he quietly got up, made an explanation. His action met widespread approval, and today he's one of the most trusted citizens of his town. So miracles do happen. Chances are that we've domestic troubles, perhaps we're mixed up with other people in a fashion that we wouldn't care to have advertised. We doubt if in this respect, addicts are fundamentally much worse than other people. But using and abusing our drug of choice does complicate intimate relations in the home. After a few years with an addict, the wife got more. How could she be anything else? Husband begins to feel lonely, sorry for himself. He commences to look around. Nightclubs, gentlemen's clubs, or something besides his favorite drug of choice. Perhaps he's having a secret and exciting affair with a girl who understands, or the guy who understands. In fairness, we must say that they may understand, but what are we going to do about a thing like that? The man is so involved, or the woman, often feels very remorseful at times, especially if they're married to a loyal and courageous man or woman who has literally gone through hell for them. Whatever the situation, we usually have to do something about it. If we're sure that our partner does not know, should we tell them? Well, not always. This is according to the folks that wrote the big book of AA. Not always, we think. If she knows in a general way, or he knows in a general way that we've been crazy, should we give them the details? Undoubtedly, we should admit our fault. They may insist on knowing all the particulars. Yes, sometimes they do. They'll still want to know who the other person is and where they are. And we feel that we ought to say to them that we have no right to involve another person. We're sorry for what we've done. God willing, um, it will never be repeated. More than that, we cannot do. We have no right to go further, though there may be justifiable exceptions, and though we wish to lay down no rule of any sort, we've often found this to be the best course to take. Walk lightly. Our design for living is not a one-way street. It's good for the goose as it is for the gander. That's what they used to say. If we can forget, and our partner can forget. It's better, however, that one does not needlessly name a person upon whom they can vent jealously. Yeah, that makes sense. So sometimes it's good to keep secrets. Sometimes. Nobody's perfect. Passing all understanding is the patience that mothers and wives have had with addicts and husbands too. Husbands have had patience with addicts, and I speak from experience. Had this not been so, many of us would have no homes today and would perhaps be like, roaring their way through the lives. Yeah, that's for sure. Hearts broken, relationships ruined, affections uprooted. Habits. We feel that a person is unthinking when they say that sobriety is enough. They're like the farmer who came up out of his storm cellar to find his home ruined. That farmer, to his wife, he remarked, "Don't see anything the matter here. Ain't it grand? The wind stopped blowing." Yeah, there's a long period of reconstruction ahead. Yeah, we must take the lead. A remorseful mumbling that we're sorry won't fill the bill. We ought to sit down with family and frankly analyze the past as we now see it, being very careful not to criticize them. Their defects may be glaring, but the chances are that our own actions are partly responsible. Mostly responsible, I would say. So we clean house with the family, asking each morning in meditation that our Creator show us the way of patience, tolerance, kindness, and love. The spiritual life is not a theory. We have to live it. Unless one's family expresses a desire to live upon spiritual principles, we think we ought not to urge them, unless they want to. Absolutely. We should not talk incessantly to them about spiritual matters. They'll change in time. Our behavior will convince them more than our words. Actions speak more than words, louder than words. We must remember that 10 and 20 years of addiction, whether it's alcohol or drugs, that'd make a skeptic out of anybody. There may be some wrongs that we can never fully right. We don't worry about them. We can honestly say to ourselves that we would right them if we could. Some people cannot be seen. We send them an honest letter. There may be a valid reason for postponement in some cases, but we don't delay if it can be avoided. We should be sensible, tactful, and considerate and humble without being servile or scraping. As God's people, we stand on our feet. We don't crawl before anyone. If we're painstaking about this phase of our development, we will be amazed before we're half done. We're going to know a new freedom and happiness. We will not regret the past nor wish to shut the door on it. We will comprehend the word serenity and know peace. No matter how far down the scale we've gone, we will see how our experience can benefit others. That feeling of uselessness and self-pity will disappear. We'll lose interest in selfish things and gain interest in our fellows. Self-seeking will slip away. Our whole attitude and outlook upon life will change. Fear of people and of economic insecurity will leave us. We will intuitively know how to handle situations which used to baffle us. We will suddenly realize that God is doing for us what we could not do for ourselves. Are these extravagant promises? We think not. They're being fulfilled among us, sometimes quickly, sometimes slowly. They will always materialize if we work for them. This thought brings us to step 10, which suggests that we continue to take personal inventory and continue to set right any new mistakes as we go along vigorously. Into action. Into action. We vigorously commenced this way of living as we cleaned up the past. It's a good thing to clean up the past. You've got to. You can't get sober, or you can't if you don't clean up the past. We've entered the world of spirit. Our next function is to grow in understanding and effectiveness. And this is not an overnight matter. It should continue for our lifetime. Continue to watch for selfishness and dishonesty, resentment and fear. And when these crop up, we ask God at once to remove them. We discuss them with someone immediately and make amends quickly if we've harmed anyone. And then we resolutely turn our thoughts to someone that we can help. Love and tolerance of others is our code. Help others. Gets you out of yourself. And we ceased fighting anything or anyone, even our addiction. For by this time, sanity will have returned. Yeah, if you make it to step 10, sanity should have at least started to return, if not completely returned. We will seldom be interested in our drug of choice. If tempted, we recoil from it as from a hot flame. We react sanely and normally, and we'll find that this has happened automatically. We see that our new attitude toward our drug has been given us without any thought or effort on our part. It just comes. That is the miracle of it. We're not fighting it, neither are we avoiding temptation. We feel as though we had been placed in a position of neutrality, safe and protected. We've not even sworn off. Instead, the problem has been removed. It does not exist for us. We're neither a smart ass nor are we afraid. That is our experience. That is how we react, so long as we keep in fit spiritual condition. It's easy to let up on the spiritual program of action and rest on our laurels. We're headed for trouble if we do, for our drug of choice is a subtle foe. We're not cured of alcoholism or drug abuse. What we really have is a daily reprieve contingent on the maintenance of our spiritual condition. Wow. That's intense. Every day is a day when we must carry the vision of God's will into all our activities. How can I best serve thee? Thy will, not mine, be done. These are thoughts which must go with us constantly. We can exercise our willpower along this line all we wish. It is the proper use of the will. Much has already been said about receiving strength, inspiration, and direction from Him, God, who has all knowledge and power. If we carefully follow directions, we've begun to sense the flow of His Spirit into us. To some extent, we become God conscious. We've begun to develop this vital sixth sense. But we must go further, and that means more action. Step 11 suggests prayer and meditation. We shouldn't be shy on this matter of prayer. Better men than us, better women, are using it constantly. It works. If we have the proper attitude and work at it. It would be easy to be vague about this matter, yet we believe we can make some definite and valuable suggestions. Absolutely. When we retire at night, we constructively review our day. We're respectful. Were we resentful? Were we selfish, dishonest, or afraid? Do we owe an apology? Have we kept something to ourselves which should be discussed with another person at once? Were we kind and loving toward all? What could we have done better? Were we thinking of ourselves most of the time? Or were we thinking of what we could do for others, of what we could pack into the stream of life? But we must be careful not to drift into worry, remorse, or morbid reflection, for that would diminish our usefulness to others. After making our review, we ask God's forgiveness and inquire what corrective measures should be taken. On awakening, let us think about the 24 hours ahead. We consider our plans for the day. Before we begin, we ask God to direct our thinking, especially asking that it be divorced from self-pity, dishonest, or self-seeking motives. Under these conditions, we can employ our mental faculties with assurance, for after all, God gave us brains to use. Our thought life will be placed on a much higher plane when our thinking is cleared of wrong motives. Okay. There's a little bit more left here. In thinking about our day, we may face indecision. We may not be able to determine which course to take. Here we ask God for inspiration, an intuitive thought, or a decision. We relax and take it easy. We don't struggle. We're often surprised how the right answers come after we've tried this for a while. What used to be the hunch or an occasional inspiration gradually becomes a working part of the mind. Being still inexperienced and just making conscious contact with God, it is not probable that we're going to be inspired at all times. We might pay for this presumption in all sorts of absurd actions and ideas. Nevertheless, we find that our thinking will, as time passes, be more and more on the plane of inspiration. We come to rely upon it. We usually conclude the period of meditation with a prayer that we be shown all through the day what our next step is to be. That we be given whatever we need to take care of such problems. We ask especially for freedom from self-will and are careful to make no requests for ourselves only. We may ask for ourselves, however, if others will be helped. We're careful never to pray for our own selfish ends. Many of us have wasted a lot of time doing that, and it doesn't work. You can easily see why. If circumstances warrant, we ask our wives or husbands or friends to join us in morning meditation. If we belong to a religious denomination which requires a definite morning devotion, we attend to that also. If not, members of the religious bodies, we sometimes select and memorize a few set prayers which emphasize the principles that we've been discussing. There's many helpful books also. Suggestions about these may be obtained from one's priest, minister, or rabbi. Be quick to see where religious people are right. Make use of what they offer. As we go through the day, we pause when agitated or doubtful and ask for the right thought or action. We constantly remind ourselves that we're no longer running the show, humbly saying to ourselves many times each day, "Thy will be done, not mine." We're then in much less danger of excitement, fear, anger, worry, self pity, or foolish decisions. We become much more efficient. We don't tire so easily, but we're not burning up energy foolishly as we did when trying to arrange life to suit ourselves. It works. It really does. Addicts are undisciplined. So we let God discipline us in a simple way we've just outlined. But this is not all. There is action and more action. Faith without works is dead. And then they go on to say that in the next chapter, it's entirely devoted to step 12, and that is working with others. Step 12 of the 12-step program. And we'll do that tomorrow. So I think we'll wrap it up for this evening, this morning, this afternoon, or whenever you happen to be watching. We're going to wrap it up or listening. Thanks for being here. I appreciate it so much. And if you care, please click the like button. And the like and subscribe would be appreciated. And we'll be back, let's see, tomorrow's Monday. We'll be back tomorrow, probably around 9 o'clock Eastern Time, USA. And we'll certainly try to get here. If something comes up, then we'll definitely be back on Tuesday or Wednesday for sure. So hang in there. Remember, trust God, clean house, help others. That's the key right there. God bless you. God bless our veterans. And never forget that somebody out there loves you. And we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.